the one type of luxury bag I will never buy. Hello, welcome back to Classics with the Quirk, where we talk about contemporary and luxury designer items and brands with a touch of silliness. This is the kind of content you find interesting. Please do like this video and subscribe for more of it. Thank you. Never is a strong word, and usually I try not to use the word never because I don't like being caught out as a hypocrite. I usually say shouldn't, or would like not to, or probably should not, but I don't generally say absolutely not, never, I won't. And so when I use the term never, I don't use it lightly, and when I use the term never in today's video, you know that I then mean business. Now, as you could tell from the title and thumbnail of this video, we are discussing today the one type of luxury bag that I will never buy, and I mean that absolutely. There are some bags that I most likely won't buy, and I actually made a video a little bit ago about bags that I do love but should not buy. There are quite a few bags that I probably won't buy, and I even made a video a little while ago about bags that I love but shouldn't buy, and if you want to watch that, I'll link it above and below for you because it is kind of a fun video, and I always like watching those videos to see what other people won't buy. There are bags that I won't buy because of who makes them. There are certain designers that I don't feel like supporting. There are bags that I don't want to buy because of the materials that they're made of. Like, I don't buy vegan leather bags, and I mean that specifically plastic bags, like bags that are made of like pleather. I don't necessarily mean bags that are made of like mushroom leather or pineapple leather. I mean bags made of plastic. I will not buy a luxury plastic bag because why would I? I mean, first of all, you guys know by this point, I'm a leather nerd. Like, I buy luxury bags in part because they are made of leather, and I like leather, and I like high quality leathers. I like learning about leathers. It's a whole thing. I've made quite a few videos on it. I'll link those for you as well. But I also don't like putting more plastic into the world than I need to, and so no, I'm not going to buy a plastic, especially not for a luxury price. Why in the world would I do that? I want to buy a plastic bag. I can buy a plastic bag from any contemporary brand for much less money than several $1,000s from like a luxury brand. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me, and so I'm going off on a tangent, and this wasn't even the topic of my video, but I guess this is linked to it as well, about bags that I will never buy, which is plastic, pleather, vegan leather bags. But I have a specific type of bag that's a little bit less general than just plastic vegan leather bags, and that is patent leather. I will never, and I mean never, buy a luxury patent leather bag for a variety of reasons, which I'm going to go into now. First of all, for luxury prices, there's just the same way that I wouldn't buy a plastic or PVC or pleather luxury bag. There's no reason for me to spend thousands of dollars for plastic. I don't need more plastic in the world. I don't need to create more plastic. I don't need to be funding the production of more plastic for a non-necessity like a luxury handbag. And in that same vein, I do not need to be spending thousands of dollars for plastic. That makes no sense to me in that particular aspect of my life. Second, patent leather well, let's go into what patent leather is a little bit, because patent leather has leather in the name, and there is leather in patent leather. It's just that it happens to be coated in plastic. And that plastic coating, in my mind, devalues the quality of the leather itself quite a bit. But also, patent leather in general is not a very sturdy material. It's not a very sustainable material. It's not a material that's going to last a long time. And you might think, wait a second, plastic lasts forever. Of course, patent leather should last for a really long time. It's leather, which already has a pretty long lifespan, coated in plastic, which will last to the end of time. Not true, actually. The process of coating leather in plastic in the way that patent leather is done actually does decrease the longevity of the leather itself and decreases the longevity of the bag itself and the integrity of the structure of the materials of the bag too. Now, before I continue my rant about patent leather in general and like go into more reasons why I don't like it and I would never buy it, I would never pay luxury prices for it, is that patent leather of today is very, very different from how patent leather used to be. When patent leather was first invented by Seth Boyden in 1818, it was essentially a leather that was coated in layers of oil to create a high gloss finish. And it was this high gloss finish that people hadn't really seen before that skyrocketed patent leather into popularity. Nowadays, patent leather, as I said before, is mostly plastic. And in fact, most patent leather pieces are bonded or PVC leather, which I've talked about before, which is a plasticized leather made of leather offcuts mixed with plastic and then made into like a leather soup, like plywood leather. That bonded leather is then coated in more plastic to create the high gloss finish that used to be so coveted and still is very coveted. People really like that look, but it is no longer really what it used to be in terms of leather coated in oil, made to create a product that was still a quality piece of material. Patent leather, for the most part, I'm not talking about luxury patent leather in general, for the most part, is just bonded leather covered in more plastic. Plastic on plastic on plastic, plastic all the way down. Not the best thing for anybody really, and certainly not sustainable and not long lasting. You're not going to have a patent leather piece from a contemporary designer last you a long time. It's not built to last for a long time. And so it's not worth, in my mind, paying for it. Now, that is not to say that luxury patent leather is bonded leather coated in plastic. Luxury leather, for the most part, is still genuine leather, at least, but it is still coated in plastic. It's just that the base leather is generally higher quality, which does mean that the base leather layer is still going to last a long time. But the fact that it's coated in plastic, to go back to my plastic rant, is going to also decrease the longevity of the bag, period. Regardless of how good quality the pieces underneath the layer of plastic are, the plastic on top is what really does the most damage to the bag itself, which is, again, why I would never buy a patent leather bag, especially not a luxury patent leather bag. What are the problems with patent leather? I didn't get into that yet, so I should. First reason why patent leather is not a great material is that it absorbs color so easily. It just sucks it up. So if you have a light colored patent leather piece and it's against anything that has the ability to transfer color onto it, it will transfer color onto it. And unlike leather bags, which sometimes you can get the color transfer off if you get to it soon enough, once color is transferred onto a patent leather piece, it is there forever. You really cannot take the color transfer away because it is soaked into the patent part and then absorbed into the material itself, basically bonding itself to the plastic. And so it's very difficult to remove. You sometimes can if you get it immediately, but also the ways that people take color transfer off of patent leather tends to damage the coating of the patent part itself, damage the plastic coating in a way that leather is not damaged if you wipe it with a damp cloth. Because in order to remove color from plastic, you tend to have to use like acetate or acetone, like an acid of some sort, and that itself will damage the plastic coating of the patent leather, which will then further damage the bag over a period of time, and not a very quick period of time. So color transfer is a nightmare for patent leather, especially like colored bags. So if you want to buy a patent leather bag, I would say dark colors are the way to go, just because you're less likely to see color transfer on it in the way that you will on any light colored patent bag. Riding off the back of color transfer, however, is that patent leather tends to just discolor on its own. Just like by itself, it tends to discolor, especially if it's in the sun, especially if it's in humid weather. It's just going to, often it will yellow. And there can be a couple of different reasons why a patent leather piece might yellow. First of all is that the patent coating itself is just turning yellow because it's been exposed to sunlight or humidity or heat or anything like that, because the chemicals that make up the plastic compound can discolor over time. And in fact, another reason why a patent leather piece might discolor is because the plastic has not bonded fully to the leather itself, and it might be pulling away, so that color transfer can happen underneath the leather. And once they separate, it's much more likely for either the plastic coating or the leather itself, especially if it's light color leather, to turn a different color or to yellow, just because the elements that bond the plastic together itself will yellow over time. And that can be a result of not the best materials, to the materials not being properly bonded, to just the chemical compound make of the patent leather process not working well in the long term, because it's not really made to last a long time, and that's just a fact of the matter. Third, moving away from color transfer and discoloration, is that patent leather also tends to get sticky in a variety of different climates and environments. If it's too humid, it can get sticky. If it's too dry, it can get sticky. If it's in the sun, it can get sticky. If it's touching something else, it can get sticky. The stickiness is the patent leather coating itself kind of, I don't want to say melting, but I kind of mean melting, breaking down. And it can be broken down through different elements like heat, like moisture. And that is also also true of leather items, but less so. If you have a leather bag, like just a full leather bag, and it's sitting in the sun, it probably will discolor. If it's a dark piece, it might lighten. If it's a lighter color, it might darken. That's just a fact of sunlight being a ball of radiation, leaching that radiation into your leather bag, and the leather, which is skin, is going to be affected by the sunlight just in the way that living skin is affected by sunlight, and we get skin burns or skin cancer. Those things are related. It's a ball of radiation seeping into your bag. But with patent leather, you're having that ball of radiation basically concentrated on plastic. And so in the same way that the radiation ball that is our sun affects leather in turning it a different color, that is then concentrated on a plastic material that has to be coated and developed in a certain way to adhere and bond to leather. It's going to break down in the sun. It's also going to break down when it's touching like moisture or liquid, because it's much more likely to decompose on itself and break down, and the chemical compounds then become unstable and then get sticky, and that's not pleasant. And once the surface of the patent leather breaks up, there's really no repairing it, because you would have to basically recoat the entire bag, and no brand is going to do that. No brand is going to be like, oh, your patent leather got sticky. Okay, we'll send it to a shop and just like dunk it in the plastic compound. Like, it's not going to happen. That's not how it works. And so it's very difficult to repair a patent leather piece, which is another reason why it's not a good investment. That's for sure. Investment in your wardrobe, it's just not going to last very long. In the same way that patent will get sticky, it can also crack. Patent leather is notorious for cracking because it's plastic. And so plastic, which is a stiffer, less malleable material than leather, if you move it back and forth, like on a flap, it's much more likely to break down in the way that it's broken down because of the sunlight, because it's broken down because of humidity. It's much more likely to crack and break down. And the thing is, you will also sometimes see this in Louis Vuitton canvas. You will see yellowing in lighter colored Louis Vuitton pieces. You will see cracking in Louis Vuitton canvas sometimes. And that is because Louis Vuitton canvas is essentially coated in a plastic coating. Louis Vuitton canvas is a cotton canvas that has been screen printed and then is coated in a polyvinyl chloride, which makes it the durable canvas, waterproof canvas that we all know and love. It is, however, susceptible to the same problems of cracking and yellowing and discoloring that patent leather is. But the thing is, the difference between canvas, Louis Vuitton coated canvas, and patent leather pieces, for instance, Louis Vuitton's vernis leather, is the amount of coating that has to be put onto the leather and the type of chemical compound used to make it high gloss and shiny. Those are different things. They're different chemical compounds, and there are different types of plastic, and there are different amounts of plastic. Now, yes, of course, in a Louis Vuitton canvas, cracking is a possibility. Discoloration on lighter pieces like demi-mesure is a possibility, but not in the same way that the patent leather bags are going to be susceptible to. The way that the polyvinyl chloride is bound to the canvas to make it a coated canvas, it's different from the process of taking a high gloss plastic and binding it to a leather to create a patent leather piece. Leather also does not absorb in the same way that a canvas will, so it can't really bind to the plastic coating in the same way or as well. So you're just going to generally have more problems with patent leather than you are in coated canvas, because coated canvas is a more porous, absorbent, malleable material than leather is. And that's just the materials itself, like having core element differences. Okay, so we've covered discoloration, we've covered color transfer, we've covered stickiness, we've covered cracking, we've covered the plastic elements. Those are pretty much the 5 big issues as to why I would never buy a luxury patent leather piece. And here's the thing though, here's the kicker. I really like patent leather. I like the feel of it. I like how smooth it is. It's got a really fun, nice, like ASMR, almost like textural quality element that I happen to really enjoy. I have a patent leather wallet that I bought years ago that is at this point very, very trashed. It wasn't a luxury piece. I found it at a thrift store. It's this bright orange thing, and I think it's very fun. I bought it at a thrift store, so it already existed in the world, and then I used it until it broke, and it's very broken at this point. It's just the prices that are being asked for luxury patent leather is ridiculous for how many things can go wrong with it and how much we still have not perfected the method of making patent leather pieces in a way that will not inevitably lead them to becoming damaged. we haven't perfected a method of patent leather production that does not in the end result overwhelmingly in a damaged product. And that's just like, why would I invest my money in something that is ultimately going to break in a way that would make it unusable to me? I personally just feel that there's a difference in buying a full leather bag that will last for generations or already has lasted for generations, and I know will and can last for generations. We're talking 30, 40, 50, 70 years versus basically a plastic bag that's not going to last a very long time at all. And the thing is, if you have a patent leather bag that has lasted you for 10 years or more and is beautiful and is beautifully aged, like that's great, like good job. Please let me know what it is and where you got it and what year it's from, like where it's from. Like I'd love to know. I do like patent leather. I really do like the feeling of it. I like the textural elements, but I can't in my mind allow myself to spend that much money on something that I know will just ruin itself because of what it is inherently made of. I think I'm just ranting at this point, just like going off on a ramble tangent about the same thing, but just that's how I feel. Those are the reasons why I feel this way. If you have a different opinion, please feel free to share in a comment down below. And if you have any other ideas or thoughts about this topic, I'd also love for you to share. I hope this video was informative. If you like this video, please do give it a like. It super duper helps the algorithm, and subscribe for more content that helps the algorithm even more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.